This place is Xinjiao Street in Wukou Town, and it's worse than Ukraine, Israel, or Lebanon. It's terrible.
On July 1st, heavy flooding struck southern China, leading to a crisis in Hunan province as reservoirs faced collapse. The floods have caused breaches everywhere, halted train services, flooded malls, and worsened the already struggling economy of these cities. In Pinjiang County, Hunan, river levels broke a 70-year record, submerging the urban area and causing significant losses. Residents have criticized the authorities for concealing the disaster severity. One resident said, "Look at this water, it's terrifying." On July 2nd, the water level at Pinjiang Station on the Meteor River exceeded 77 meters, the highest since 1954. Not only was Pinjiang County's urban area flooded, but even the local TV station was submerged. A staff member at the Pinjiang Media Center reported, "Our station is flooded. Tonight, Pinjiang might experience the highest flood levels in history, completely submerging the first-floor equipment of our media center." Residents revealed that the authorities released floodwaters at night without warning, leading to severe damage. Mr. Bai, a resident of Pinjiang County, said, "The reservoir released water secretly at night, flooding the entire county. The shops are all underwater and the losses are significant." Ms. Wang, another resident, added, "Since June 18th, there have been constant heavy rain warnings in Pinjiang, but no one mentioned rising water levels or flood discharges." Heavy rain caused the Qingshui River to rise. By June 30th, many riverside shops were submerged, with first floors entirely underwater and numerous cars lost. A netizen shared a video saying, "It's so scary. The ancient town of Zhenyuan turned into an ocean overnight. Tourists woke up thinking they were on the Yangtze River. Water reached the third floors, causing severe losses to the businesses. Even the dragon boats and bridges were swept away, and traffic lights disappeared." In low-lying areas, the situation was even worse. A video showed someone shouting that the second floor was no longer visible and the water was approaching the third floor. The official WeChat account, Zhenyuan Release, reported on June 29th that the Qingshui River's peak level at the Dacaiyuan hydrological station was expected to reach 465.5 meters, 4.5 meters above the guaranteed level, prompting an upgrade of the flood emergency response from level 3 to level 2. Public data shows that the peak flow in Zhenyuan on that day surpassed the historical record from the 1990s. Recently, in addition to Hunan, Anhui and Jiangxi have also been severely affected, with water and power outages in disaster areas. A resident of Anhui said, "Oh no, the water has entered the house." Another person exclaimed, "The house is filled with water again. What are we supposed to do?" As of now, authorities report that millions of people across southern provinces have been affected, with over 60 people dead. However, due to the Chinese government's habit of concealing the truth, the actual numbers are unclear. Between July 1st and 3rd, videos emerged showing people being swept away by the floodwaters in various parts of Hunan. In the raging torrents, lives seemed as fragile as thin leaves, helplessly drifting. It's truly tragic and pitiful that in China, ordinary people's lives are considered so worthless. On the evening of July 1st, at 10:44 p.m., the underground parking lot of Xingda in Yang County was hit by a sudden flood. Several citizens were knocked over as floodwaters rushed into the parking garage. Since June 26th, the Qingshan Reservoir in Chongyang County has been discharging water, causing downstream river levels to surge and flooding many towns.
The water level must not rise any further. If it goes up any more, the power station won't be able to hold, and people will have to prepare to evacuate. The maximum height we can handle is only 50 or 60 centimeters. We can't protect the power station any longer.
Why didn't the power station release water before the rain came? Now they open the gates in an emergency when the flood hits, just to earn a bit more money from electricity? On June 29th, in Zhenyuan, Guizhou, the flood situation angered a netizen who felt that the local authorities were ignoring their disaster. They shared their message on an overseas platform, hoping for help. "The entire city is without power. My relatives are trapped in the ancient town of Zhenyuan. The first floors are mostly flooded, and the notice says the water will rise by another 6 meters. On the same day, in Junyi, Guizhou, a pool hall owner said, "In just an hour, the water rose so high, the equipment in their storeroom and pool hall was damaged, resulting in losses of nearly hundreds of thousands." A netizen commented, "This kind of flooding happens every year, quickly submerging people's properties. This isn't a natural disaster, but a result of reservoirs releasing water without warning. This disregard for life and property is extremely rare worldwide, comparable to terrorist acts. It's appalling." On July 1st, in Pinjiang County, Yueyang, Hunan, Floods suddenly hit, causing the Meteor River to overflow its banks and inundate the city. Some residents were trapped in the water, and an elderly person was injured by a collapsing roof. In western Hunan, the floodwaters rose rapidly, capsizing a boat and causing many to fall into the water. One netizen shared in an online group, "Over a dozen of my father's pigs were swept away by the flood. The big ones weighed over 300 pounds, and there were sows too. Our entire house is flooded." In recent days in Guilin, Guangxi, after the floodwaters receded, citizens expressed their anger at the staged cleanup efforts. "We supported the Communist Party, and what have they done? They've all pretended here. Everyone is promoting themselves. It's all lies." A netizen posted, "The Communist Party only does things on the surface and does not truly solve the problems for the people. The so-called disaster relief efforts are mostly staged, ignoring the actual needs of the people. The party is good at propaganda, but poor at real work, leaving behind false achievements and the disappointment of the people." A video surfaced showing a fake disaster relief effort at the entrance of the outpatient building of Tonglin Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital, affiliated with the Anhui University of Chinese Medicine. In traditional Chinese culture, there's a saying, "Heaven has the virtue of cherishing life," meaning that even if humans make grave mistakes, heaven will give ample warnings for people to correct themselves. Since June, there have been continuous floods in the south and droughts in the north. These should serve as a warning to the rulers, but the authorities have shown no concern. Whether it's disaster prevention, rescue during the disaster, or post-disaster assistance, there's been no significant action, leaving only devastation and the self-help efforts of the people. On June 27th, Beijing's Yangqing district was hit by a sudden hailstorm, with the largest hailstones measuring up to 5 centimeters in diameter. The hail piled up like snow, reaching depths of up to 40 centimeters in some areas and turning into icy rivers in others. Videos circulating online show hailstones crashing to the ground with a rumbling sound, leaves being knocked off trees, and car windows being shattered. In some places, the hail accumulated like snow, covering the ground in residents' yards. On the streets, the hail gathered and flowed together, resembling icy rivers. According to a report by Beijing Daily on the 27th, hail fell between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. in multiple towns in Yangqing district, including Zhansanying, Qingtown, Dayushu, and Badaling, with the largest hailstones measuring 3 to 5 centimeters in diameter. The Beijing News reported that in Shiguan Village, Yangqing Town, the hail piled up to about 40 centimeters thick in one resident's yard. Residents commented, "Such thick hail. This year is another disaster year. Be cautious when traveling to mountain areas." And "Heaven is showing unusual signs." Some Beijing netizens remarked, "It's like Beijing is experiencing two extremes, fire and ice." On April 22nd this year, Beijing also experienced hail. Residents said it was the first time they had seen such large hail at that time of year. On that day, the Beijing Meteorological Observatory issued a blue lightning warning and a yellow hail warning, indicating that most areas of Beijing would experience thunderstorms, with some areas having heavy rain and short-term strong winds of levels 6 to 7. Haijian, Chaoyang, Shunyi, Pinggu, and Tengzhou were expected to see scattered hail. Around 5 p.m. that afternoon, heavy rain mixed with hail fell in Beijing. Many Beijing residents posted videos of the hail on social media. One netizen mentioned, "Hail fell near Xiaoying Road in Chaoyang District, and the rain was particularly heavy, and the sound was very loud. The ground and cars were covered in hail." Another said, "Strong winds, heavy rain, and hail. This afternoon I captured hail falling for the first time, a rare opportunity in Chaoyang District." Thunderstorms in Beijing have come suddenly. Near the north 3rd Ring Road, there was heavy rain accompanied by small hail. Photos online show dramatic lightning illuminating the sky, creating a striking scene. A Beijing netizen filmed a video of hail hitting the windowsill, saying, "Hail this big is really rare." Many netizens were surprised by the extreme weather in Beijing, commenting, "What month is it now? Hail shouldn't be falling in any month." And Beijing usually sees hail during the peak rainy season in July and August. The weather has been so strange these last couple of years. It's scary. It reminds me of the heavy rains in Guangzhou 12 years ago, and now Beijing is experiencing rain and hail. This weather is getting weirder and weirder. Is something ominous happening? Last July, Beijing experienced its heaviest rainfall in 140 years, severely impacting Fangshan District and Mentogo. To protect Beijing and Xiong'an, the authorities released floodwaters into places like Zhuozhou in Hebei, causing significant losses to local residents. On the evening of May 24th, Dingshi County in Gansu province and surrounding areas were hit by a hailstorm and heavy rain. In Min County, the aftermath of the hailstorm turned the streets into icy rivers, with ice accumulation reaching tens of centimeters deep. Some roads in Min County were flooded, trapping vehicles. People had to use excavators to clear the ice. Min County is known for producing the herb angelica, and local residents lamented that the hail had destroyed the angelica seedlings, resulting in losses of tens of thousands of yuan. Residents of Min County described the situation. There was heavy rain and hail on the evening of the 24th. The crops were immediately ruined by the hail, and fields were flooded, and the vegetables were washed away. Cars in the county were swept away by the icy water. Some houses with lower courtyards were flooded. One resident mentioned that although the water has receded, thick mud remains everywhere. Videos shared online show white hailstones piled up on the streets, and many vehicles immobilized by the water. Several residents reported that the water was knee-deep, with chunks of ice from the hail floating on top. A business owner noted that small cars entering the flooded areas would stall immediately. Mr. Lee, another resident, said the water reached his calves, and in some parts of the city it was waist-deep. Many residents' yards were filled with hailstones. The streets were covered with tens of centimeters of ice, and excavators were used to clear it. Another resident expressed shock at the severity of the hailstorm, saying that parts of Min County were seriously affected, and a landslide occurred on the road behind their house on the evening of the 24th. Min County is known for its production of angelica, and residents are worried that the price of medicinal herbs will rise again this year. One netizen said, "The hail destroyed all our angelica seedlings, resulting in a loss of 130,000 yuan. This year will be tough. We might not have enough to eat. I have 3 students in my family, and even their monthly living expenses are a concern. Farming is really difficult." Public information shows that Min County's main economic crops are medicinal herbs, including angelica, Cotinopsis, astragalus, red ginseng, and 238 species of wild medicinal herbs such as rhubarb and fritillaria. In addition to extreme weather and heavy rain and hail, on the evening of April 20th, around 10:30 p.m., a fireball meteor was seen falling and exploding over Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei, lighting up the entire sky. Videos shared online show the large fireball meteor emitting a green glow as it fell through the night sky. It exploded near the ground, creating a brilliant flash of light before disappearing. Not just in Beijing, but also Tianjin and Hebei, people witnessed the fireball falling from the sky. A Beijing netizen said, "On April 20th, a large fireball meteor streaked across the southeastern sky of Beijing, exploding and shattering, lighting up the entire sky." Another person, who was night fishing by the canal, observed, "The whole riverside lit up." A netizen posted a picture saying, "The sky lit up when the meteor exploded. A bright meteor fell. It was quite large, emitting yellow and blue light." Another person on the highway from Tianjin to Tangshan mentioned, "It flashed for a moment, and I thought it was lightning from rain, but there was no rain. I checked on Douyin, and someone had already posted about it. People saw it in Tianjin too." Photos from a netizen in Chengde, Hebei, showed the sky turning green as the fireball fell. Someone in Langfang said, "I saw it too and thought a kid was setting off fireworks." Traditional Chinese culture emphasizes the harmony between heaven and humanity, viewing natural phenomena as omens. Historically, fireball meteors were considered bad omens, possibly indicating the death of a significant figure or an impending disaster. On May 8, 1976, a rare meteor shower occurred in the northern suburbs of Jilin City. Shortly after, 3 of the top Chinese communist leaders, Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, and Zhu De, passed away. On July 28th of the same year, a massive earthquake measuring 7.8 on the Richter scale struck Tangshan, Hebei, killing at least 240,000 people and severely injuring 160,000 people. The city of 1 million people was flattened in an instant. In October of that year, a political coup occurred in Zhongnanhai. Hua Guofeng, Ye Jianying, Li Shannan, with the support of the Central Guard led by Wang Dongxing, detained the Gang of Four and their supporters, marking the end of the Cultural Revolution. On the night of April 20th this year, after the fireball meteor fell, Beijing experienced extreme weather with heavy rain and hail. Meanwhile, heavy rains and floods ravaged southern China, including Guangdong, Guangxi, Guizhou, and Hunan. Cities turned into vast bodies of water, and the disaster continues today, leaving many homeless while officials do nothing. At the same time, the leaders of the Chinese Communist Party are busy preparing for the upcoming 20th Central Committee's third plenary session, planning the future direction of China, dreaming that the Chinese people will always live in delusion. History often repeats itself, only with different protagonists and settings. Looking beyond the surface and examining the reasons for the fall of each dynasty since the Xia dynasty, one can't help but feel astonished and curious. Toward the end of each dynasty in Chinese history, natural disasters have become more frequent and severe compared to earlier periods. These events seem to subtly hint at something. Why were the disasters so frequent and severe during the late and final years of these dynasties? What was heaven trying to tell people? Ancient Chinese believed that natural disasters were closely linked to human actions. If disasters were caused by human misdeeds, a significant cause of these misdeeds was the ruler's failure to govern virtuously. Can it be said that it was these end-time rulers' lack of benevolent governance, going against heaven's will, that led to heaven's warnings? Natural disasters were heaven's way of warning and punishing those who did not follow its laws. When these tyrannical, foolish, and mediocre rulers ignored heaven's warnings, their fall became inevitable.